Hi everybody, I'm Nyree. I'm running an adoption support channel. If you're new here, welcome. If you're returning, thank you for coming back. Today is another video in my attachment series, and it's about attachment in everyday life. So if you've adopted or you're thinking of adopting, then it's talking about how to build attachment in everyday life and everyday routines. So what is the problem with building attachment in everyday routines? Well, the first thing to say is adults are busy people. We have everything that we need to achieve everything that we need to accomplish in a day. So for example, a busy household will have to get breakfast ready, deal with the laundry, dishwasher, washing machine, cleaning, pets, tidying up, tidying bedrooms, sorting out beds. You might have some deep cleaning, some gardening, relaxation, TV and hobbies, mealtime, sleeping. That's just to name but a few. They're watching you do all of these things, but they're not involved. And of course, their day might get broken up more if they've got nursery or preschool or school. That might be a little bit different. But for the most part, there's big gaps of time for them when they don't have anything to entertain them or anything to do. And this can be the difficult thing around attachment, because then you're not there for them and they can't seek you out in the same way as what we need them to be able to do. So let me give you some examples of how you can do some joint thinking in terms of including children in your routine, and then I want to share with you how you can give them some separate activities to do, so that you can still build attachment but they're not going to involve you, these routines. And then I want to talk to you how you can provide regulating activities, so things that help the child to regulate their emotions, and then I want to share with you some co-regulating emotions. So there's going to be 4 strands. So children don't have to play to be happy. That's a misconception. I think we feel that children, especially in a Western society, need to have lots of things to play with to make them happy. But in reality, children, especially adopted children, can be very, very happy supporting you in what you're doing and being included. So for example, breakfast time. Now, you're not going to be able to wait for your child to get the whole breakfast thing ready, but you can have a situation where you are getting out the bowls and the spoons and they're getting out the cereal to put in the cereal on the table, and they have their little part to play in that breakfast routine. Imagine your laundry. You put the laundry in, they work out how to do the buttons with you, and their job is to press the right buttons at the right time and get the laundry going. And so you see what I mean, like every part of the daily routine that you have to do, if you can give your child a little tiny part of that routine and involve them, then that's a joint routine activity, and that builds attachment. And the reason for that is because they're close to you. And as you'll see on my other videos, if you check out the other 6 videos, it's all about keeping them close to you. That builds attachment in the quickest, strongest way possible. So the second idea is to have what I call your play activities, but that they're plans. So your start to finisher activities, I call them, and your treasure type box activities. So what you would do is you would have large envelopes. I don't know if I've got any here to show you, or boxes. So you could just have a box. This is full of junk at the moment, that you can have things in for your child to do, and you can get those out at certain times of the day. Start to finisher envelopes would be things like you would put a puzzle in there that that child can do. You might stretch them a little bit, but the puzzle's within an envelope, say a see-through envelope or a box, and you get that out ready for them, and they're doing it separately from you. So you're not doing the puzzle with them, they're doing it for themselves so they can achieve it themselves, but they're probably going to be able to complete that puzzle, and that's going to give them a real sense of satisfaction. And you get these things out when you absolutely need to get things done. So for example, if you have a particular task in the house to do, say like you need to prepare the dinner, you need to get it done quickly, it's not something you feel that you can include them in, then you get these start to finisher packs out, and you need to change them throughout the week. You don't need to change them every day, but you may have, say, 6 envelopes that you prepare for the week, and the child knows they can access one of those when you are busy. The same for a treasure box. You have the boxes ready for the times when you really can't include them. Now, they can be in the same room as you doing these things, so they're not separate from you, and that's where the attachment can still be built. But they have things that they really relish and enjoy, and are their favorite things. They're probably things that you don't necessarily have out all the time. They're those special things that you have out. So a treasure box, for example, imagine your child loves Thomas the Tank, for example. So you might have a particular book in there, you might have some cuddly toy that represents trains, you might have a train in there, you might have a small bit of track in there, you might have something that makes a noise like a train, and so on and so forth. Like a mixture of sensory experiences is always good in those boxes as well. So that's an example of separate. So we've had joint, we've got separate, and now we're going to talk about regulation. Regulating children's emotions, it's all part of helping them with attachment. Now you may find with your adopted child, or when you have your adopted child, that they really struggle with their emotions. I've made a video on this already. So we're talking about things that calm them down, and it might well be that these things are going to be things that you don't have to be with them for, and this is why I'm separating out regulating activities with co-regulation. You'll see what I mean in a minute when I move on to that. So regulating activities, depending on the age of your child, could be something like the TV, music, a cuddly toy, story time. Sensory play is a really, really good one for calming children down, and that could include things like sand or water play, or like messy play with paints, Play-Doh, all those types of activities. And physical play is also good for regulating emotion. Now, I think that to be successful in building attachment through everyday routines, you're going to need a mixture of joint stuff, like I've already explained to you, separate stuff where they're going to achieve some sort of sense of satisfaction, regulating stuff where you allow them to calm down. I think it's a big mistake to expect children to go through the day being busy all the time. We can't do that, and sometimes people think that's because we're adults, but I do think children do need time out to just do, in a sense, kind of nothing, or activities that calm them down and allow them just to have headspace and think. Adopted children can become overstimulated. They can enjoy lots of activities and become overstimulated and actually out of control. And so these regulating activities, you'll work out what they are for your child, and you'll work out, you know, what really works for you and the family. And that's going to have to be scattered in with the other things that I've explained to you. So finally, we're moving on to co-regulation, and these are kind of like my favorites in a way. So co-regulation will be things that calm the child down, but also calm you down, that you enjoy doing together. So it's really important to have at least one of those every day. It might be that those things happen more toward the end of the day because everybody's slowing down, but if you can include them in your routine throughout the day, that's going to strengthen attachment. So examples of co-regulating activities could literally be just watching a really simple TV program together that you both enjoy, you can both giggle over, and you know, you're just calming down in that moment. It could be that it's a cuddle, a longer cuddle, or a nap in the afternoon where you just cuddle up on the bed and fall asleep together, and your heartbeats kind of go into rhythm together, and you just have that lovely time if you've got a younger child. It might be something like splashing together in the paddling pool, having the texture and the fun of the water together and enjoying that together. Doing a cooking activity together where again everything's slowing down and you're enjoying the fun of the textures and enjoying what you've made and eating it afterward, or painting or colouring together, or just popping down to the local shop to buy a favourite snack or a favourite little magazine together. Those are co-regulating activities which are going to take you out of the shall we say more mundane routine things, but they're still things that you do every day. They're nothing extraordinary or nothing extra special. They don't cost a lot of money, they don't take a lot of time. So those are your co-regulation activities. Now the final thing that I want to say to you, for those of you who've hung around for the video, is the best way to approach this is to actually have a weekly plan. You need to put into your weekly routine the joint activities that are part of your mundane routine, the separate kind of activities that you've prepared for the child, which are based on play but they're starter finisher treasure box type activities, and then you need your regulator activities which they can do on their own, and then you need your co-regulation activities all throughout the week. And if you can plan the whole week out just roughly into periods of 1 or 2 hours at a time where you're going to tackle these things, and if you can get your envelopes, your treasure box things ready and put some thought into how you're going to include these 4 categories every day and throughout the week, I think you're on a win-win to building attachment strongly and also keeping your sanity, because there's nothing worse, is there, than trying to get all of your jobs done and finding that a child is not letting you do any of it. And you know, you've spent all day at home and your other half comes home, whoever it is, and says, oh, you know, how have you got on today? And you say, I've done absolutely nothing. I've done absolutely nothing because they've cried for me all day. And you might still get days like that. But I do think that trying this 4 kind of pronged approach will really help you to have success. So please subscribe if you haven't already, and I will link to you the previous attachment series video at the end of this one, which was all about bedtime and nighttime and how to deal with attachment at nighttime. And I'll see you on my channel. Thank you.